Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to take a look at some new features that are coming out in Retribution. We've got our preview build here. So the first one that's pretty interesting is we can now filter our air defenses on the right-hand side here, depending upon what it is. So do we want to see units that have AAA, SHORAD, MERAD, LORAD? All you have to do is unselect air defenses, and then you should be able to go ahead and change those filters as desired. The next thing that we want to talk about that's really interesting, something I'm really happy about, is we have the opportunity now to create and save loadouts. So if we go ahead and we open up, like let's say this package here, I have this Hornet that I'm going to use, and I'm going to have a custom loadout. I can actually save this. So if you click on Save Payload here, and we're just going to call this JDAM F18, and we'll call it Test, because that's what we're going to do today. And click OK. It's going to go ahead and save it for us. And then if we don't want to use the custom loadout, we can actually select this. Let's say that this is what it came out with normally, and actually go down here and select it from this list, and it should just automatically load that in for us. And we should be able to do that with any aircraft. So this is a nice quality of life improvement, so you don't have to go and try to save this or edit some document yourself. It's all housed inside of Retribution. So if you're someone like myself who likes to change out the custom, or you check this custom loadout and start changing different things because maybe you want to use CBUs instead of JDAMs or whatever, you can do this. Once you've saved it, you're able to just select this yourself instead of having to sit there and full through with it. So that's really nice. So as I said, we're going to do a little testing today. One of the things that I want to do from a testing perspective, we had a discussion inside of our Discord channel on, is it possible to drop a JDAM on a Retribution generated waypoint reliably? So we've got an F18 and we have an F16, both with 2,000-pound JDAMs and without targeting pods. And we're just going to try to hit these two different targets. And the idea here is it possible to just, designate that particular target, or in the Viper use the pre-plan mode and then just drop it on the waypoint. Apparently we're not able to grab the exact altitude of the ground, and so we're wondering if it defaults to like 0, and if 0 then automatically selects the appropriate elevation. We don't know, so we're going to test it out today. Another thing that I'll show a little bit later after we test our JDAMs is we now have the ability to create road bases. So if you're a campaign designer, you're able to now plop down, I believe it's an A10, and you can actually use that to set up or designate spawn points for road bases. You're also able to use that on, like, let's say that you have Ramat David and you want to be able to put spawn points, you change spawn points or add additional spawn points, you can do that as well. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and click take off here and go drop some JDAMs and see how we do. Alright, so we're in. So let's go ahead and just double check that we don't have targeting pod. We do not have a targeting pod. Excellent. Let's go ahead and get set up here. Let's double check our waypoints here. Strike target is waypoint 5. We have designated waypoint 5. The altitude is 0. So let's see what happens. Alright, we got Master Arm on. We've got baddies about 30 some miles away. We're about 16 miles from target. We go ahead and increase our speed. Get ready to drop our JDAMs. We are in target of opportunity mode. We have designated the waypoint. This should be a pretty straightforward deal here. Alright. Pickle. And pickle. Time to get out of here. Turn around here. Alright. That's fine. We're fine. Autopilot. Barometric altitude hold. That's fine. Let's see how our JDAM does. We were targeting a radar. That's one dead radar. Okay. Alright, looks like that is just a wrap on this one. Alright, so we are in our F-16 here. Let's go ahead and just take a quick look. Note that we don't have a targeting pod. We're not going to use that at all. Let's go ahead and get started up here, and we'll see you in just a minute. Here to ground mode. Master Arm is on. We are set for pre. Let us gain some altitude. Alright, that SA2's got me. Alright, here we go. Pickle. Pickle. Alright, so this is our JDAM. It looks like it is gonna hit the target. Yep. Yep, they're very dead. Alright, so I think that's pretty indicative of a, yes, you can use the waypoints to use JDAMs. Now obviously this isn't going to work on a moving target, but if you have a static target, you can use the waypoints from Retribution. Alright, now let's go take a look at the road bases. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to looking at forward operating bases, specifically the new features around ground spawns and road bases. So what we're going to do, as always, is we're going to go ahead and take a quick peek at the DCS Retribution Wikipedia page here. And if we go into the custom campaign section, it has all the documentation, all the official documentation. So if you scroll down to the forward operating bases and then go just a little bit further down, it'll talk a little bit about ground spawns and road bases. So to do this, all you're going to do is you're going to place down an A10A or an AGS-37 at a runway or ramp, and it will cause an invisible FARP, an ammo dump, and a fuel dump to be placed in the case of the A10A behind it, or to the side of it if it's an AGS-37. Alright, and then in our campaigns, the ground slot can be used by human-controlled aircraft and generated missions. There's also an option in the settings to allow AI aircraft to be placed there, but the AI are going to start into the air as opposed to trying to have them run around, and that's in the case that there's not enough ramp or runway slots available. Alright. The other thing is that we can insert them in fobs, and if you insert them into a fob, you can actually take like an abandoned airport, you can put in a bunch of aircraft here, and you'll be able to basically use that airport. And in the case of a smaller airport, you can actually increase the number of parking slots, right? So instead of only having maybe 5 or 10 aircraft, you could have significantly more, or you can use them to create road bases, kind of like in this example here that they show. And we'll walk through creating a road base in just a moment, show you an example in a mission file so that in the event that you wanted to do so in your campaigns, you totally can. Another example that was provided in the Wikipedia here is using World War II airplanes on specific like dirt paths. So you can use some of the abandoned areas like this this old airstrip in Syria, and you could use it to basically have a bunch of warbirds take off if you wanted to. Now, one of the things that I will point out is that you want to have at least the width of the wingspan of an A10A in between your different slots, and that allows that there's enough space for everything that needs to go into it. So that's why I'm going to use probably the A10A. I think the example that Ghosty sent me is using the AGS-37, which I can show you as well. But we'll walk through it in the mission editor a little bit later. All right, so what we'll do is we'll pause here and we'll hop into the mission editor. Hey everyone, welcome to the mission editor, where we're going to take a quick look at things. So this mission file that was sent over is a 1973 campaign that Ghosty, who's one of the lead developers for Retribution, has put together. And so I wanted to showcase a couple of things that you can do with the road base functionality. So if we go ahead and come down here to the LAR airbase first, you'll notice that there's a bunch of these A10s sitting on the tarmac. And so the reason for this is that you can actually, augment the number of parking spots for a specific airbase. So in this case, LAR, I think, only has like, what, 5 total parking spots. So instead of just having 5, now you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now you have 15. So it's actually might be more useful to, you can actually do something in LAR versus, vanilla Retribution. You really can't. You don't get very many parking spots. So that's kind of cool. The other thing that he's done is he actually has a full implementation of a road base. We go up here, we can see it. So this is a baddie, at least a red for it to begin with, road base. And so what he's done is he's got a fob here. So he created the fob using the mobile ATC as one normally would do. He's called it the FOSSA road base. He's got some, helipads. It looks like he's got an ammunition depot here. He's got, some other assets around it. But then we have the Vigans here that are, nose to tail essentially on this road. And so this is the road that he's going to be using for his runway. And then you'll notice that the Vigans have a waypoint that goes off down here, but it stays in line with the road. And so this is pretty important, because what it's going to be doing is it's going to help despawn any objects that might be, like power lines or lamp posts, things like that might be along the side of the road, so that you don't run into issues when you try to spawn in and take off. And so this is kind of the two big ways that you can use this new feature as a campaign designer or campaign builder in order to, bring in new scenarios or augment the number of parking spots available in specific air bases. Now, the other thing that's going to be interesting is when the Cola map releases, since road base construction and usage is actually a part of doctrine in that part of the world, it's going to allow you to, replicate some of that for your campaigns. Which should be pretty important, because I believe that there aren't a whole heck of a lot of airports on that map, or they're a little bit more sparsely. They're a little bit more sparse than typical, like the Persian Gulf map or Syria or what have you. So this is where I'm going to leave us for today. I will be doing a video later on how to implement this as part of our tutorial series. Even though I've kind of explained it here, we'll do like a follow along and add it to that tutorial series in the near future, as well as fobs, because we haven't covered that yet either. But thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.